Alright guys, figured we just have a little fun with this video and want to talk about connecting covers. I got three things here before I go forward with this video. First of all, I'm calling out a big shout out for help, because the thing with connecting covers is that I've had some comics that I've always kind of wondered why I couldn't find them to fill in a run and things like that. And what I've come to find out, it's because they were a connecting cover. Sometimes you would have one series connect and cross over with another series, and the whole point of that would be to kind of give the other series a little bit of a rub, help with sales on the book and stuff. So people who were fans of one series would run out and get that other book, and they really wouldn't print that many more. So I kind of started putting that together. Then I've also gone through my collection before and had books for years that I never knew collected, until like maybe I threw them down to the side or something. They may have landed side by side, or I just kind of looked over on the shelf or something. So the big call for help that I'm having here is, if you guys ain't got any connecting covers, I don't expect this to be a tag video. I don't expect a lot of people really jump on it, but either in the comments or maybe in another video, show some connecting covers. Kind of give everybody a heads up, including me. Because what I did here, I just really quick went through my collection for about 30 minutes, grabbing stuff off the top of my head, and I don't know, I didn't grab some of the obvious connecting covers like X-Men #1 from 1990 and the official handbook of the Marvel Universe, were all 24 to 26 issues, all connected with all the characters running and things. Second thing is actually I don't usually do this, but I want to ask for a thumbs up, and any comic book videos that you watch in this community or elsewhere, give it a thumbs up anyway. If you've watched any videos outside of this our community here, or you'll kind of find out that people have found out that YouTube has an algorithm, and for these smaller channels to grow, and I consider myself a small channel, don't get me wrong, but for all these other channels to grow and to find other people doing videos and stuff, part of the algorithm apparently is how much you interact, how many comments you get, and how many thumbs up or thumbs downs you get. So thumbs up this video and thumb up any other videos you guys have been watching. Okay, first of all, right here we have Web of Spider-Man #6 and Amazing Spider-Man 268, and these are Secret War 2 crossovers. And I believe that John Byrne did these covers, and as you can see, they connect. I was always fascinated with this book because I loved how they trail as he's swinging, as Spider-Man is swinging and stuff, and I always like that animation style and stuff. Now, where this is John Byrne, it kind of always takes me back to his his Iron Fist work with Chris Claremont in the 70s and stuff, man. You're talking about a kung fu action character, and Byrne had it down fantastic. And this is when comics were a little bit more fun and sneaky and stuff, and as you can see, Byrne would hide his name in this sign. Just a fascinating, great cover to look at. And for everybody who's wanting to know what the story is, basically the Beyonder during Secret Wars 2, that omniscient, all-powerful being who came to Earth to find out what it meant to be human and mortal, found out that people had greed and wanted wealth, so he turned an entire building in New York into gold, and it collapsed on everyone. Alright, let's see if we can do this without being too awkward. Okay, now the first connecting cover that I kind of remember getting was this fantastic George Perez connecting cover, because I was collecting Batman and the Outsiders, and let's see if we can get that to stay up there. That's as good as it's going to get. Anyway, was this fantastic George Perez cover with Jim Aparo inks. I was collecting Batman and the Outsiders, and this was during a time when everybody was just crazy about the New Mutants and the X-Men, and me being contrary and stuff, I kind of didn't really, I was like 10 when this came out, so I didn't really go after the books that everybody else was hunting for and stuff. And I really dug the Outsiders there when they started out. But this fantastic cover just blew me away with George Perez. George Perez, it's really odd. I can't say that he's my favorite penciler of all time, but I mean, when it comes to my comic book collecting and stuff, he definitely enriched it. And his stuff, I would just sit there and just look at the detail in the backgrounds, and he always put so many characters on one page or filled up a panel and it was just, it wasn't cluttered. He didn't waste a line. He didn't waste a space. It was just fantastic. But yeah, this is covers that I could just sit there and just look at. This is Batman: The Outsiders #5 and New Teen Titans #37. There'll be some more Titans in here. All right, moving right along. Oh, here we go. We'll do these. Okay, this is one of the this is a set of covers that I was saying that I never knew really connected, just because it's just not that obvious. And these were two books that I had on a shelf when I got and looked at them. And New Teen Titans Baxter series #38 and Infinity Incorporated #45. I would imagine this crossover happened because after Crisis on Infinite Earths, they got rid of Earth 2. They merged into one big world, and that just messed up all the stuff that Roy Thomas had set up in All-Star Squadron during World War II on Earth 2, and Infinity Incorporated being the children of those heroes from, Earth 2. And with Crisis, it really took away. You had one Superman, one Batman, etc., etc. So I'm assuming, considering that Infinity Incorporated probably lasted 6 or 7 more months after this may have been to get a rub on Titan sales on Infinity Incorporated. So just a fantastic Ultra Humanite, just a fantastic set of covers, in my opinion. Well, I'll be a little bit more critical of the Infinity Incorporated one. They wasted a lot of space with just that purple, I don't know, mind beam from the Ultra Humanite there. Okay, moving right along with now we go to Titans and Outsiders. This one is not one of the greatest, but it was kind of cool. They came out with these specials for the Outsiders and Infinity Incorporated there. And is that right? I got them backwards, excuse me. I think in my mind I was sitting there trying to make them in alphabetical order and stuff, right? So we had the Outsiders meet the Infinity Incorporated, man. And I'm going to tell you, this was a rough read, man. I really can't even... It was just... I just remember this was a lot of work to read. But it was still kind of cool. It's cool to have. Very nostalgic. Very 80s. Psycho Pirate just became a cult favorite after Crisis on Infinite Earths because he could remember the DC universe before Crisis. Got used in Animal Man by Grant Morrison. It's fantastic. I know he got a call back again, I think during one of the, what was it? Not Final Crisis, Infinite Crisis, maybe, I don't know. But anyway, just like I said, just kind of cool to have, another, connecting covers. Now these next two, they're not exactly connecting covers, but I don't know if I for some reason I want to call them mirror covers, and that's still not right, but I don't know if there's really been a term for these, right? But this was Justice League International #13. This is 1988, and Suicide Squad #13. And as you can see, I mean, I love these. It's basically just looking at the same action from a different angle. You're in one cover, you're in front of the action, and on the other cover, you're behind the action. And I thought that was just one of the coolest things I saw because, what was I, 15, 16 when this came out? And I was like, okay, that's neat. I had never seen anything like that. So of course I'm going to get it, and I would match it up to see if the artist screwed up any and stuff. See if he drew somebody out of place, had an arm wrong or something. And nah, man, he did a pretty good job. But it always kind of blew my mind how we had a little bit of extra booty here on Guy Gardner. I don't know what that's all about. And then you come over here and that smile on his face. Not quite sure if our artist there was a Guy Gardner fan or if he was just laughing it up. So a couple years went by, and I had this I think I had these, and I never realized they were the same cover. It's another one. We'll just call it mirror for now. It's just different angles stuff. Kerry Gamble did these covers, I think. And once again, it's the same thing. We have the Fantastic Four ripping through a wall to come in there and help fight some Skrulls. And if you look real close, there they are coming through. I think he captured... I guess he did the best job he can, considering the Avengers have more characters and stuff. But yeah, still kind of cool. Where that one's not so obvious, you know, it kind of surprised me that it's one of those things I could have kicked myself for never really noticing anything. That's Fantastic Four Annual 19 and the Avengers Annual number 14. I haven't read those in forever. And then you get the big time 4-part stories. This was Lightning and Stars. I put this on Instagram. That's what kind of made me digging through my comics. But I love this one. I think these are Tony Harris. So those two go together. This is this was a 4-part story. This is part 1 and 3 of a crossover with the Power of Shazam. You got old Captain Marvel there on the cover. Golden Age Bullet Man, Golden Age Starman, and oh man, Mr. America maybe? Captain Commando America? Oh, I can't remember who that other character is sitting there with Jack Knight. Oh, it's time to go blank. But part 2 and 4 of this story was in the Power of Shazam with these fantastic Jerry Ordway covers. Holy cow, man. I love these. Those greens. Just that Ordway style. I mean, these are just fantastic. Oh, I want to frame those. I'm not, no kidding. Side by side. You can sit there and take those in. Okay. And then, I guess this would be more appropriate of a mirror cover. I've always gone back and forth that this was really supposed to be connecting covers because the shape of the Earth is just way off down here. And basically, this is the Crime Syndicate of America. This is the significance of this story. This is just the first 2 parts. Is that this was more or less a loose sequel to the Justice League versus Avengers that came out in the early 2000s. And this was supposed to be a mini-series of the Crime Syndicate, but they just stuck it in the GLA book. So, yeah, this was kind of cool. I'm a Crime Syndicate fan. Really a big fan of Earth 3. So this since I was a kid. So, yeah. This was right up my alley, you know. So it was great. Cool story, too. Alright, and then in the 90s, we had Jim Lee and Rob Liefeld take over for the Marvel books, and they lasted about a year, and then they had a crossover with the Wildstorm universe, more or less, because basically it just became a mess, and they ended up bringing in Walt Simonson, James Robinson, a whole bunch of people to come in and kind of fix what was done. And then they came out with these 13th issues right here. This was a 4-part story, World War III, and it kind of merged them with it was an amalgamation. There was all sorts of little crossovers and company crossovers going on where they just kind of merged their universes. Oh, those are not coming in very well. But anyway, that's a Doctor Doom face. I don't know what's up with the light. It's night. There's not a lot I can do. But you have the Doctor Doom face bringing them together, but the logos get in the way. But yeah, that's part 2 and 4. And then you had Iron Man and Captain America come in, and these do cross over. The little robot here brings them together. So this was a fun little story. You know, nothing really groundbreaking or earth-shaking. Just, you know, kind of cool. Some really nice artwork in them. Okay, now I'm going to have to apologize for the shaky cam, because sometimes when they would do these connected covers, they got sort of ambitious. This was one of those series that I could not believe I didn't really catch because I bought these as a kid. Oh. Anyway, I knew the bottom 2 connected because of the face, but I never knew the top 2. This was the start of Justice League Detroit. So yeah, you got those 4 there. Let me see if I can do this better. Get them in there. Yeah, so it's kind of cool. You know, they're standing on the rock that Steel there is somehow able to lift up, I guess. And there's a tree up there. Alright, and then right before 52 started, James Robinson came on. Get the glare off there. I don't think I'm going to be able to do this justice. There's too much glare. But I'll just travel on down here. But He did a crossover with the Justice League of America and the Justice Society of America of Dark Things, 5-part series, and he had every one of the covers all connect, which was, you know, great. And then some of my favorites here were Unity during the Valiant area in the 90s. And Frank Miller came in, and these were really kind of hard to figure out how they went because they're not in the order. The top of each of these covers tell you what chapter, what chapter of Unity these books were, and that's not how they fit. But you can see they make glowing hands, and Frank Miller did all of these. But then you come over, and for the second half of Unity, we got Walt Simonson coming in with an MC Etcher type kind of drawings here, and you had to follow. There's pipes on there you had to follow, and it made it even more difficult to put them together because the logos actually got in the way. And according to comic book lore, if you listen to that, Walt Simonson, just to make a rib at Frank Miller, asked Jim Shooter to pay him a nickel more than Frank Miller to do these covers so he can at least have bragging rights that he was paid more than Frank Miller. Okay, guys. So, like I said, a little help there. If you have more connecting covers, I mean, I have more here, of course, digging through the boxes and stuff. But if you know more connecting covers, just kind of give me, put them in the comments, or if you feel like making a video, definitely put a link in the comments and let me know you do it. And like I said, thumbs up this video and thumbs up any other comic book videos that you're watching, just to get everybody out there. All right, guys, thanks a lot.